Good afternoon. Great day out there today. The temperature got turned up a little bit. It was exactly what I wanted. First day in pads. One of the really neat things this training camp. It's been great to have some of the families come around. I saw Ruhan Peel's mom and grandmother yesterday. Stephen Long, his dad, and some of his siblings have been around the last couple of days. Nick Archidiakono's dad and his brothers have been around today. So, certainly one of the advantages we have with all the local players we recruit here in the state of Rutgers is that their families get a chance to be a part of the experience, and it's just something you can't have everywhere else. Questions?
Has Peoples been out there?
No, Peoples has been out. We'll get him back in a couple days. Nothing serious, lower body issue, nothing extended, but it's certainly given Hicks and Martin a chance to take some reps that they may not have gotten. So it's been good to take a look at those guys.
Kyle, obviously we know Joe Rossi as more of a secondary guy, but he has been a defensive coordinator before. How much has he added to, I guess, your front four? Like, what's his input been there?
I think, Joe was a college defensive lineman. I don't know how many people know that. So, I think you have a guy who played defensive line in college, has been a coordinator, has really coached. His first year here was coaching the R for us. So he was coaching that position. He's got a different perspective, I think, than some of the other guys who've coordinated this defense. And I'm pleased with the way those guys are running around. This time in training camp, everybody's trying to get a little bit better every day. The most important thing I'm looking for is the effort that we're playing with, and I'm really excited about how we're running around on defense.
Could you grow a beard like him, or no?
You know what? I don't think I could. I don't think I could. I've had a goatee and a mustache and some semblance of a beard from time to time, but Joe's is pretty impressive.
You hinted at a mini scrimmage on Tuesday?
We're going to have a half scrimmage
What
on.
will that entail?
It would be just more team than maybe some of the group work we would normally do. The first day in full pads, I know the boys will be excited. We're going to tackle for the first time this training camp, and I think it'll give some of these lesser experienced guys, I won't say young, but some of the guys maybe who didn't play as big a role last year as they wanted to, a chance to show the coaches what they can do. Coaches will be on the field. It'll be a controlled setting. We'll have a couple different situations in at that point, but everything won't be in. But it'll be our first chance to go out there and play 11 on 11 and tackle. So we're going to do a little bit more of it than we have in some of the other practices.
The early enrollee freshman been ahead of the non-early enrollee freshman, and one of those non-early enrollee freshmen, your first impression of Dre Boggs?
I think in some cases, yes, and in other cases, it's still an advantage, but one that may be seen publicly, a little bit further down the road. But I think guys like Cam Lott and Brandon Russell look more comfortable than your average freshman playing in our defensive system, which I think is a testament to them being here for the spring and then the full summer program. I'm pleased with what Dre's done. He's playing hard. He's making some plays out there, and now we'll go back and watch the film and make sure he's making them within the system. So, so we want him to make plays. When I worked for Joe Gardy years ago, he used to tell us, don't worry about the percentage grade on defense, worry about production. So he certainly has had some production, but we need him to do it within the system too.
What have you seen, from Kamoko Torre? What do you think you guys can get out of him this year? And knowing how little experience he had coming into Rutgers, how far along would you say he is in, reaching what he can become?
I'm pleased with how far along he is mentally in our defense. I think that's a positive. Do I think he's ready just yet? I don't. I do say, well, what does he have? He has some of the things that were the reasons why we recruited him. He's a very explosive athlete. He's a very quick change of direction athlete, which lends itself to having some natural pass rush. Now, does that mean he's going to be a great pass rusher? We're certainly looking in that direction, but he's going to have to prove that he can do that. And when we play the games and the lights go on, he's the one who's going to have to go out there and be able to perform in that setting. But to this point, he showed some really good natural pass rushing, and he showed the ability to play within our defense at the R position. So I think he's probably a little bit further along than I would have expected at this point mentally.
Kyle, I know you said you want to see Gary be better than he was in the spring, just kind of continue that. What have you seen in 3 days?
I've seen him command the offensive part of the field, which I think is very important for a quarterback to do that. And I think he's done it on a higher level than he's done it in the past. So that would be probably the thing that jumps out to me first. And I think it certainly shows that he's more comfortable in the system now that he had a spring to go through it with Ralph and then a summer to go back over it. He certainly looks more in control of what's going on out there. So so far, so good.
There's been so much talk about decision making with him. Have you noticed anything mechanically or physically he's doing better or different?
I think that he's always thrown the ball very well. That to me has not been the issue. So to answer your question, no, I don't think so.
What are your thoughts on the way Tariq Cole has looked so far, especially with how much he's transformed his body in the last year?
Yeah, he's getting a little more playing time than some of the other freshmen, so he's picking it up okay. It's still a little bit fast for him, but he's a big, strong, powerful athlete, so he's got the right parts to start with.
And JPO, Kyle.
What's that?
JPO. He's done so much work on his body. How's he going?
Yeah, he's bigger now than he's ever been. I think that today he was 267 pounds, if I saw it correctly this morning. The best part of JPO's game is the effort he plays with. And he's a talented player. I don't want you to take that the wrong way. He's a talented player. He's a talented defensive lineman. But his effort level is at an elite level. He really plays hard from the snap through the echo of the whistle.
And how are the wide receivers so far in training camp, including Leonte Carew?
Yeah, I said to Jay coming off the field today, I thought one of the positives of today's practice, just watching it on the field, is I thought some of the players we need to play at a very high level played at a very high level today. I thought Darius Hamilton played at a very high level today. I thought Stephen Longo played at a very high level today. I thought Leonte Carew played at a very high level today. And we got to go back and watch the film and see who else and then who didn't. But Leonte is so strong to the ball. I think that's what makes him as good a receiver as he is. Because is he the fastest guy out there? He's fast. I don't know if he's the fastest. Is he the quickest change of direction guy out on the field? He's got good change of direction. I don't know if he's the quickest. But I don't know if there's another player on the field who's stronger to the ball than Leonte is.
Thanks, Colin.
Thank you.
Thank you.